to the Coaching Coordinator Network weekly game planning tips series presented by Lauren's First and Goal Clinic. Each week we bring you insights from coaches across offense, defense, and special teams, giving you the detail and discipline that helps sharpen your game plan. While we always pull clinic segments that work well on audio, if you'd like to see the corresponding video for these tips, you can watch the video version of this episode on the Spotify app. Lauren's First and Goal is a nonprofit founded in 2004 by John and Marianne Luce in honor of their daughter Lauren, a pediatric brain tumor survivor. Since its founding, the clinic and camp have raised nearly $3 million for pediatric brain tumor research and family support services. Each March, they host their annual virtual clinic, bringing together top coaches from the professional and college ranks. To learn more or get involved, visit lawrencefirstandgoal.org. This week, our tips come from Kyle Ohradzansky, offensive coordinator at Findlay, Ilaisa Tuiaki, defensive line coach at Oregon State, and Dan Beard, special teams coordinator and linebackers coach at Gettysburg College. We start on the offensive side of the ball with Kyle Ohradzansky, offensive coordinator at Findlay. His philosophy is built around a simple but powerful framework, which he borrowed from Hall of Fame coach Larry Karras: players, formations, plays. Coach Ohradzansky reminds us that great coaches don't just rely on scheme, they trust players, use formations to their advantage, and call plays with purpose and conviction. Let's listen to this segment from Coach Kyle Ohradzansky, offensive coordinator at the University of Findlay.
Okay. Then, going back to what we had talked about at the beginning, our offensive philosophy, it's no secret where this comes from. It comes from Alliance, Ohio. Larry Karras has won, I can't tell you how many games. He kicked my butt in college a couple times, right? Our offensive philosophy is simple. It's players, formations, plays, right? And, when you talk about the players aspect of it, we break it down for the guys. Play the best players. Simple. Got it. Good. Who we trust, right? Who we trust. This one's an easy picture to put on there. That's Jason Moore. He plays for the Chargers. Just wrapped up his third or fourth season in the NFL. Okay. But there's guys who you trust in different situations, right? Like Jason wasn't a jet sweep guy. We'd trust somebody else to do that. Right. Our little 5'6" slot, right? We wouldn't trust him to go up after a jump ball in the end zone like we would trust Jason to go up after one. Okay. It's our job to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. Hell, at one point in time, we had two NFL receivers here, and if we didn't get them touches, well, who's the dumbass there? Not the players, coaches, right? And so, we're constantly trying to figure out how do we get the ball in our playmakers' hands. Okay. They're the ones that win games, not us. Not us. Okay. And so, you look at this play call here, right? So I'm at Ship, right? We get down into the red zone. It's our first trip down into the red zone against Westchester, right? And we scheme up something, right? A naked with a little jet sweep. But the reason for this call, right? The why behind this call is because of this kid right here. We knew that he was going to do it exactly right in a critical situation on a 3rd and 5 in the red zone. And he was going to make a play because he was the one that had proven that he was going to do that going into this week. And so this play call was not made for scheme. It was made for player. And so he gets himself into the end zone right there. Okay. Then the next thing we talk about is formations, right? And so as a play caller, all right, we can use formations to be a weapon for us, all right? But we can also use them to make our players' lives easy, okay? And so we want to, here at Findlay, we want to be multiple. We want to find the numbers, angles, and leverage so that we can put the ball in the green grass, okay? And so just an example of this is a basic curl concept, which a lot of people use across the country. But these guys had the ability to vary some coverages and try to dictate things to the offense. So we tried to make it really easy on the quarterback, right? Going back to a player, right? Really talented, struggled at times with some reads. So we tried to make it easy on him, just threw a simple motion onto a bunch and ran our curl concept. But because of the movement of the defense, the quarterback knew based on scouting report that that safety had that receiver. And so we took a concept, used a formation, and made it easier for a player. And so that's, now, hey, my players, how do they fit into my formations? Okay. All right. And then the last part would be plays. Okay. And I'll show you some examples of this stuff here in a second, but we believe in being aggressive with our play calls. Okay. Be aggressive with your play calls, shoot your gun. Don't leave anything in the chamber, let it go. And then we also talk about obviously our physical play and how we want to be aggressive with that. Okay. As a staff offensively, we believe in taking control from the defense, right? Make the defense play catch up to us and make them defend the whole field. Okay. The last point would be stack plays. Be creative and let one play lead into another, right? So now we'll talk a little bit more about the play calling aspect of it, right? Use those alumni zone calls. Use your, hey, 1st and 10, second choice down calls to let one thing lead into another. Let it set up what you were trying to do, okay? And so, against Hillsdale, right? One of our base empty quick games, we got slants to the field. We got to go in and out to the boundary, all right? Quarterback on a second and long here, all right? Makes a good read, rips a slant, puts us in a 3rd and manageable, all right? And we're in good shape, all right? But we're using this not only to get us out of the 2nd long, we're using this to confirm what we already knew based on game plan going into this game, right? That we were going to get zone and get these guys dropping out of here, all right, when we were in empty. Okay, so now go to the next one. And so we're using that empty call to set up something else for a critical situation. 1st and 5 in the red zone, we jump into empty. We had already seen that that's what we were getting. And then boom, there they go. Linebackers go. It's not anything revolutionary. It's just empty quarterback draw. But the timing of the play call was phenomenal. It was absolutely tremendous, right? And so the guy that's our head coach now, Corey Allen, he was calling plays at this time. He rips this play call off, and I'm sitting up in the press box. I'm like, wow, he's on today. He's really on today. And I'll give you another example of it here. Okay, so, everybody's seen in the NFL people running that little short motion, kind of now screenish type thing down in the red zone, throw it to a big body, let him go dive into the end zone. That's all this is right here. Boom. Rip it out there. Let your 6'6", 260-pound tight end go ahead and dive into the end zone. Love that. Okay. But let's do a good job of letting one week lead into another. All right. So now, all right, now our coordinator, Coach Allen, does a great job in a critical situation, 4th and 2, of stacking things that we have done now, not in game, but week to week. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. He gets on the headset, 4th and 2, he doesn't hesitate, and he rips this call off, convicted. This is what we are going to do. We believe in it. We've repped it. This is where we're going with it. Unbelievable call. Unbelievable call in the right situation. Let the plays stack. And it leads to a big time touchdown in a pivotal moment in that game. So now we're not only stacking, game to in game, week to week. Now we're stacking year to year, right? So this is the following year against the same team that we threw that screen against the first time, give them the exact same action. All right, we got people moving and shaking all over the place, and we hand off tackle wrap back up underneath to build off of things that we have done in the past. All right, it's not, you wouldn't say that any of those plays are necessarily revolutionary, but the how we called them, the why we called them, when we called them, all right, were what led to the success of those plays.
From offense to defense, Ilaisa Tuiaki at Oregon State flips the lens on analytics. While most systems track offensive success, Coach Tuiaki reverse engineers those numbers to give his defense a clear plan. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
So we talk more about the role of defense in winning, right? After the score, the second most important stat, and I'm really stealing this idea, or this coining this phrase from CAI, which is Championship Analytics Inc. And in the world of football, especially in the last 5 to 7 years, where people have gone to analytics, CAI has coined the term DSSR, which stands for Down Series Success Rate, and that's just the offense's ability to gain another first down until they kick a field goal or score a touchdown, and that's an offense's ability to continue to get a new set of downs until they can score. And so we'll refer back to that, but what CAI has come up with in the last however many years is after the score, down series success rate is the most important thing for offense. And so when we're talking about defense, we're really going to start to reverse tool everything that goes into what DSSR is. So reverse tooling the offensive analytics side of it, because when you think about analytics, there really isn't any analytics system or program or anything out there that you can buy that is defensive oriented. Everything is offensive oriented. And so you've really got to take what they're finding, statistics that they're finding, things that they're doing analytically on offense, and reverse tool them and try to build your defense off of it. And so in an offensive DSSR, right, these are three of the things that are important. Early down success on first down. What they deem as successful is 5 yards on first down or more, right? On second down, you're trying to get 2 or more yards, and then if you can be third down and 3 or fewer on offense, your success rate is really, really high, right? It's something in the 80-something%. The next one is third down avoidance, right? And in theory, if you think about it, all a defense has to do on third down is get 1 stop and you're off the field, right? Assuming that the offense doesn't go for it on fourth down. And so for an offense to avoid third down and continue to turn over a new set of downs on first and second down is a big thing for them. And so they're trying to avoid third down. Whereas on defense, for every first down you face, you want to face a third down, right? Unless you're taking the ball away. And so third downs are good for us because it gives us a chance to get off the field, and for offenses, it's something that they're trying to avoid. So explosive plays, the last thing that goes into DSSR, when you look at these, right, 0 explosives is going to give you less than a point per possession, right? And 7% of those drives end up in touchdowns. 1 explosive play is a huge change where you're over a field, you're past the field goal as far as points per possession, and over half of your drives end up in touchdowns. And then obviously 2 explosives basically almost guarantees that you're gonna score a touchdown. And so offenses are trying to get explosives. It's really difficult, and you think about the academy schools. Academy schools are really good at just managing early down success and just doing a good job of just moving the chains. Whereas most offenses are built, they're not built like that. They're not built to do what some of the academy schools are doing. They've got to have explosives or else they're not scoring. And so when you talk about defense and kind of retooling and setting up your goals, as well as just the way that you're setting up your menu and calling a game, I think it's important to just think about those things when you're doing that.
Coach Tuiaki stated there is no analytics platform for defense, but that's not true. Our partner, Modern Football Technology, has a platform designed for all phases of the game, delivering real-time in-game analytics. With their simple user interface and onboarding process, you and your staff can be up and running and making informed decisions by kickoff this weekend. Check the link in the description or go to modernfootball.com. Coach Tuiaki's focus on down series success rate highlights 3 defensive keys: force third downs, win early downs, and eliminate explosives. His approach turns offensive benchmarks into a defensive blueprint for success. And finally, we turn to special teams with Dan Beard of Gettysburg College. For him, success starts with scouting and precision. Coach Beard reminds us that precision, down to the spray chart and kickoff tendencies, is what opens creases for game-changing returns.
The biggest phase in terms of special teams game planning is really scouting the coordinator, getting an idea of who the coordinator is, what his personality is, does he have a history of anything from a fake standpoint, from a lineman standpoint, has he, have any information out there that you can gather some stuff and have had a chance to really get to know both these guys that are pictured here, Coach Dennis Long, who's at Monmouth, and then the Coach Chad Brain, who's at St. Anselm. I've had a chance to sit down and talk special teams with them and, haven't gone against them, but, really getting an idea of their personalities. And I would encourage you guys, both these guys have spoken at the Lawrence First and Goal Clinic. I would check their stuff out. They're very good. But again, getting an idea of that coordinator, what is he looking to do? What is he looking to accomplish? Is there any, giveaways or fakes or stuff that you can pick up on as you're scouting the coordinator? And then getting an idea of overall stats, where are they really making a lot of their big explosive plays? Is it in the return game? Is it, their punters flipping the field? Have they had any kicks that have been blocked that, can kind of give you an overall before you really dive into your cut ups and really kind of see what you're looking at? Do they have multiple kickers, from a field goal perspective, from a punt perspective, that you can kind of take advantage of? Getting unit by unit here. All right. So we get into kind of, the kick return game planning. With what we're dealing with, like I said, Coach Morgan, our head coach, has run our kick return unit and been very successful with it, with what you're dealing with there. So from a kick return standpoint, from a scouting standpoint, the first thing we're going to do is really, get our kickoff spray chart of, where that ball's hitting. How do we want to align our returners, our fullbacks, our ends? Are there some surprise kicks there, some pooch kicks? Do they have certain formations that we really want to look at? And then, what is their typical alignment? Are they a 5x5? Are they a 4x6? Do they have, flyers and shifts? We want to make sure we have a really good idea of what we're looking at from that standpoint. And again, do they use multiple alignments? Are they always, 5-5, on the right, 5-5 on the left, 4-6, and out of those alignments, do they have any specialty kicks that we need to be aware of? Okay. And then from there, getting to know their personnel, who are the specific guys in those spots? Do they have a guy that's, a real speed guy that we really need to, be cognizant of, in our blocking scheme with how we want to attack it? Who are their squeeze contain guys? Who are the fold guys? Do they run any twist games that we need to be aware of? And how do those things sort out? So, really getting it down, because a lot of times, teams will change their kickoff look week to week. Okay. And again, if you can identify the jersey number of that guy, a lot of times you can find the fit of what you're looking for. Okay. And then again, getting an idea of, hey, how does that play into the coverage? How does that play in terms of their lane discipline? Where's that natural crease that we can attack and really get a good idea to get after it? And so this is against Slippery Rock. Our kick returner, Hakim Melvin, he does a great job here. Hakim is from New Jersey. He's from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, does a great job here, finds the seam. We get a nice lead block here. You can see by Jaden Abrams. Okay. Jaden does a really nice job for us. He's from Hamilton High School in New Jersey. And again, great way to start the game in terms of taking it back to the house for a touchdown. And again, all the scouting stuff, who's their personnel, what's their lane discipline, where's that natural crease, where's that natural split? I can remember we were in our game plan meeting, and then even with our kick return meeting, and Coach Morgan, our head coach, said, hey, this one's gonna hit. We're gonna take this one to the house, and here we go. We got the look we wanted. We got some good blocks. Like I said, Jade, number 25, does a great job with the lead block there to really spring Hakim on the return. All right, we take it back to the house. It's a great way to start the game. So, your prep work of showing up, of what you're trying to accomplish, and it shows up on film. All right, now again, looking at from a kick return perspective, do you have movement? Do they have flyers? Do they have guys that they'll start wide and run in? Are they the ball guys? Do they end up being safety guys? Different things to really account for with, how do you want your split? How do you want to attack it? How do you want to block it up? of what you're looking at. So you can see here, all right, this is again from this season here. Okay, they have some flyers. So again, they're adjusting kind of their post-snap look with how they want it. Hakim does a really good job here. All right, we get good blocks here by our fullbacks and ends. Okay, good seal block. We got the one-on-one with the kicker, and then Hakim does the rest. And again, if we can get that seam, that's what we want. Again, guys hustling down, down the field, and a great way to kind of change momentum of the game of what you're looking at. So, again, really looking at it. Our frontline guys are securing the kick. All right, identifying the flyers. All right, we do a nice job. Again, getting a good split, finding a natural crease, staying on blocks. You can see there, number 50, Judah Rock, does a nice job with us there on the double team. Judah's from Freedom High School in the Lehigh Valley area. And again, giving us a chance to, really spring a nice return. So again, all hands on deck type deal, multiple positions, multiple units. We're very fortunate. Again, you get, another look again, who their personnel is. How are they moving guys? This one here, we got a big return. We did have a holding penalty on it, but it's nice to see that, hey, through your scouting work, you're finding those answers. Where's those natural creases? Who are their ball guys? Who are the guys that we want to attack? Where's that natural split? And then how can we take advantage of it? And, hey, get our kicker in a one-on-one situation in open field to really make a difference. So those are things that we'll really look at, from a kick return standpoint.
For Coach Beard, great special teams aren't built on surprise. They're built on relentless detail, unit discipline, and the confidence that comes from knowing exactly what's coming. The common thread this week, details win. Whether it's putting the ball in the right player's hands, reworking offensive analytics into defensive goals, or drilling every aspect of the return game, preparation creates confidence, and confidence drives execution. That wraps up this edition of the Weekly Game Planning Tips series presented by Lawrence First and Goal Clinic. Don't forget, the annual virtual clinic takes place each March, with top coaches sharing their knowledge to support the fight against pediatric cancer. Learn more at lawrencefirstandgoal.org. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, find the winning edge. We're proud to partner with the best companies that serve coaches. For your in-game analytics, go to modernfootball.com. When you win it all this year, Signature Championship Rings provides you a great design within your budget. Use Story of the Season for a modern version of the media guide and a way to raise $20,000 to $40,000 for your program. Go to storyoftheseason.com. Sideline communication is critical. Our partner, the Headset app, has figured out how to do that at a fraction of the cost. Check out what they do at theheadsetapp.com. Go Route offers you a way to call plays in games now if you're in Texas, and Gridiron Scout is the premier way to get plays into practice and eliminate scout cards. Check it out at goroute.com. And finally, Titan Sensors gives you the analytics you need for your players on player development and understanding their physical needs. Check out all of our sponsors and our content at coachandcoordinator.com.